My own mother sat across from me in a courtroom, trying to legally take away my right to manage my own life. She abandoned me when I was 7, disappeared for 15 years without a single phone call, and now she was back, not to apologize, not to reconnect, but to tell a judge I was too mentally unstable to handle my own bank account, my car, or the apartment I paid for with my own money. Her lawyer sat there smiling like the verdict was already written. He had no idea what was coming. My name is Thea Warren. I'm 28. And this is the story of how my mother tried to steal everything I own, and how she lost everything instead. If you're watching this, please subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. Now let me take you back to where this family drama began, to a Tuesday morning when my phone rang, and in a voice I hadn't heard in 15 years said, "Hi baby, it's Mom." It's a Tuesday in March, and I'm standing at my kitchen counter pouring coffee into a thermos when my phone buzzes. Unknown number, Virginia area code, but not local. I almost let it ring out. I get spam calls twice a week, but something, I still can't explain what, makes me pick up. "Hi baby, it's Mom." The thermos slips. Coffee pools across the counter. I don't move to wipe it up. I don't move at all. The last time I heard that voice, I was 7 years old, standing on my grandmother's porch in bare feet, watching a blue sedan pull out of the driveway. She didn't wave. She didn't look back. She just left. And for 21 years, that was the last thing my mother ever gave me. A view of her taillights. Now she's on the phone, and her voice is shaking. And she's saying things like, "I know I don't deserve this, and I just want to see you, and I've changed, Thea, I promise." I don't say a word, not because I'm being strong, because my throat has closed shut. She fills the silence. She tells me she's living 2 hours south. She tells me she's remarried. She tells me she wants to make things right. She says it 4 times. I hang up without answering. My hands are trembling, not from sadness, from something closer to alarm, like a fire detector going off in a room you thought was empty. I set the phone down, wipe the counter, pick up the thermos. Then my laptop pings. An automated email from my bank. Credit alert. Significant change detected on your account. My score has dropped 90 points overnight. I stare at the screen. Then I stare at my phone. 2 events, same morning. And I don't believe in coincidences. Let me back up. I grew up in a small house on Maple Ridge Road, about 40 minutes outside Charlottesville. It belonged to my grandmother, Ruth Warren, the woman who raised me after my mother walked out. Donna Beckett, that was her name before she remarried, left on a Thursday. I remember because Grandma Ruth had just made pot roast, which she only made on Thursdays. I was sitting at the table drawing horses when the front door opened and closed, and when I looked up, my mother was carrying a suitcase to a car I'd never seen, driven by a man I'd never met. Grandma Ruth didn't chase her. She just picked me up, set me on her hip, and said, "You're staying with me now, baby, and that's not a bad thing." She was right. Ruth Warren worked 30 years as a bookkeeper for the county clerk's office. She wasn't rich, but she was steady. She kept every receipt, filed every tax return on time, taught me that money was something you respected, not something you chased. I earned a scholarship to UVA, graduated with a degree in finance, got a job as a financial analyst at a mid-size firm in Charlottesville, bought a used Honda Civic with my own savings, started paying down a 1-bedroom apartment on a 15-year mortgage. Then 2 years ago, Grandma Ruth passed. Pancreatic cancer, fast and cruel. She left me the house on Maple Ridge, her savings account, about $120,000, and a filing cabinet in the hallway closet. It held everything. My birth certificate, my social security card, old insurance forms, school records. Grandma Ruth kept everything in one place. She trusted the world more than it deserved, and someone knew exactly where that cabinet was. That evening, I sit at my desk and pull my full credit report. What I see makes my stomach drop. My score, which I'd carefully built to 780 over 6 years, is at 520. There are 4 credit cards I never opened. A department store card from a state I've never visited. A small personal loan taken out 3 years ago. Total outstanding debt, $43,000. Some of these accounts go back a decade. One card was opened when I was 18, the year I started college. I've never owned a credit card that wasn't issued through my bank. I call the credit bureau. The woman on the line walks me through the dispute process, but warns me it could take months. Each account has to be investigated individually, she says. You'll need to file with all 3 bureaus. Months. $43,000 in my name, and the best anyone can offer is months. The next morning at work, I tell Claire Aldridge. Claire's a CPA, 2 cubicles down, and the closest thing I have to a best friend. She listens without interrupting, which is how I know it's bad. Claire only goes quiet when she's calculating. When I finish, she doesn't say, "I'm sorry," or "That's terrible." She says, 4 cards over 10 years? This isn't a data breach, Thea. Someone has your social security number. Someone who's had it for a long time. She looks at me across her desk. Who had access to your social when you were a kid? I open my mouth, close it. I think about the filing cabinet in Grandma Ruth's hallway closet, the one that held everything, the one in the house where my mother grew up, the house my mother knew better than anyone. 3 days later, Donna shows up at my office. I'm at my desk reviewing a quarterly report when the receptionist calls my extension. There's a woman in the lobby, says she's your mother. I walk out and there she is, standing by the front desk in a pressed blouse and pearl earrings, dabbing her eyes with a tissue. She looks older, thinner, carefully put together, the kind of woman you'd feel sorry for at first glance. The second she sees me, she crosses the lobby and wraps her arms around me. "Oh, Thea, my baby." Her voice cracks just loud enough for the receptionist and 2 passing co-workers to hear. I don't hug her back, and I stand still and wait for her to let go. She pulls a chair closer and starts talking. She's changed. She's sorry. She found God, found stability, found a good man. His name is Greg. He's waiting in the car. She also has a daughter, Jocelyn, 22. Your sister, Thea. You have a sister. I nod. I say very little. Then the questions start. Small ones at first. Where do I live? What kind of car do I drive? Then larger. Did Grandma Ruth leave you anything? The house? Savings? I watch her face as she asks. Her eyes flick to my badge, my desk through the glass door, my shoes. She's inventorying me. I heard about the house from a cousin, she says when I don't answer. I just want to know you're taken care of. I stand up. I need to get back to work, Donna. She blinks at the name. Not Mom. Donna. I came to your office, she says softly. Doesn't that mean something? It means you wanted witnesses, I say. Next time, call first. That weekend, I drive to Grandma Ruth's house on Maple Ridge. The spare key is still under the 3rd flower pot. The house smells like dust and lemon cleaner, the ghost of Ruth Warren's Saturday routine. I go straight to the hallway closet and open the filing cabinet. Something's off. The folders are slightly out of order. Grandma Ruth filed everything alphabetically by category. Banking, insurance, medical, tax. Now, insurance is behind tax. Small thing. But Ruth Warren never misfiled anything in her life. I pull the envelope labeled Social Security, Thea. It's been opened, not torn, carefully slid along the top, then folded back. The card is still inside, but someone handled it. I sit on the hallway floor and call my cousin Pam. 3 months ago, I say, you mentioned a woman came by asking about the house. What exactly did she say? Pam tells me a woman named Donna showed up at Pam's door, introduced herself as Ruth's daughter, and asked whether the house had been sold. Pam didn't think much of it. She seemed nice, said she missed her mama. After I hang up, Claire and I run a deeper trace on the fraudulent credit cards. The billing addresses rotate between 3 locations, all towns where Donna lived over the past decade. 1 P.O. box in Southern Virginia, 1 apartment in North Carolina, 1 address in Tennessee I'll later learn belongs to Greg. Then I find something else. At the bottom of the filing cabinet, in a folder Grandma Ruth labeled personal, there's a letter. 8 years old. Donna's handwriting. I recognize it from birthday cards she sent until I was 5. It says, "Mama, I need $5,000. Please, I'm desperate." Ruth never told me about this letter, and she never sent the money. The certified envelope arrives on a Monday. I sign for it at my mailbox, thinking it's related to my credit dispute. It isn't. It's from the county court. Inside is a formal petition for guardianship, filed by Donna Marsh, née Beckett, requesting that she be appointed legal guardian over me, Thea Warren, age 28, on the grounds that I lack the mental and cognitive capacity to manage personal financial affairs due to psychological instability following a significant bereavement. I read it twice, then a third time. Attached is a psychiatric evaluation signed by a Dr. Raymond Poole, who states that I exhibit signs of emotional fragility, impaired judgment, and inability to make sound financial decisions. I have never met Dr. Raymond Poole. I have never been evaluated by any psychiatrist. The petitioner's legal representative is listed as Gregory Marsh, Esquire, Donna's husband. And the relief requested is comprehensive: full control of my bank accounts, management of my inherited property, authority over my vehicle title, and oversight of all financial decisions. Everything. She wants everything. I call Marcus Bell. He's a family law attorney who practiced in Charlottesville for 30 years. More importantly, he was Grandma Ruth's friend. They went to the same church. He handled her will. Marcus listens to me read the petition over the phone. When I finish, there's a pause. The kind that means a calm man is choosing his words carefully. "Thea," he says, "this is not a guardianship case. This is a financial takeover dressed in legal language." He tells me the hearing is set for 6 weeks out. He tells me we need hard evidence. And then he says something that makes the hair on my arm stand up. "Don't let Donna know you're preparing. Not a word." Jocelyn reaches out on Instagram. Her profile is all selfies and motivational quotes, the kind of account that looks curated to seem harmless. Her message is simple. "Hi Thea, I know this is weird, but I'd love to meet my big sister." Against my better judgment, I agree. We meet at a coffee shop near campus. She's 22, blonde, bright-eyed, wearing a sundress and a nervous smile. She orders an iced latte and immediately starts talking about how difficult Donna can be. "Mom's intense," she says, rolling her eyes like we're bonding. "Trust me, I get it." Then, casually, the questions shift. "How are you holding up since your grandma passed?" And, "Do you feel like you're managing okay? Financially, I mean?" And, "Have you thought about getting, professional help?" No judgment. Each question lands with surgical precision. She's not making conversation. She's building a case. I keep my answers flat. "I'm fine. Work is good. I manage." When Jocelyn excuses herself to the restroom, her phone vibrates on the table. The screen lights up. I don't touch it. I don't have to. The notification is right there. "Mom, did she say anything about the apartment?" I look at that message for 3 seconds, and then I look away. When Jocelyn comes back, she's smiling again. "This was really nice, Thea. We should do it again." "Definitely," I say. I smile back. I finish my coffee. Outside, I sit in my car for 5 minutes before starting the engine. My hands are steady. My mind is clear. She wasn't here to meet her sister. She was here on assignment. And now I know exactly what this family is doing. Marcus Bell's office is on the 2nd floor of a converted Victorian on Main Street. Bookshelves floor to ceiling, a brass desk lamp, and a framed photo of him and Grandma Ruth at a church fundraiser. Claire, Marcus, and I sit around his conference table. Claire opens her laptop and turns it toward us. "Here's what I found," she says. 11 credit cards, 3 personal loans, total debt, $87,000. Every account opened using Thea's social security number. Every billing address links to a location where Donna Marsh has lived in the past 12 years. Marcus writes in a yellow legal pad, saying nothing. Claire continues. She was careful. Minimum payments on most accounts. Just enough to keep them active without triggering fraud alerts. The oldest card was opened when Thea was 14. 14. I was in 9th grade, learning algebra, and my mother was across the state, spending money under my name. Marcus sets down his pen. Here's the strategy. We don't tip our hand before the hearing. We let Donna present her petition first, the grieving mother, the concerned parent. Then we respond. Not just to refute the guardianship, to show the court who's really unfit to manage finances. He slides a form across the table. But this is an FTC identity theft report. You'll file this today. We also file with local police. That gets us an official case number. I sign. Claire prints the credit timeline in full. Marcus slides it into a manila folder. One more thing, Marcus says. The psychiatrist who signed Donna's evaluation, Dr. Raymond Poole. I'm going to check his license. He looks at me over his glasses. If that evaluation is fraudulent, this isn't just a bad petition, it's a crime. That night, Donna posts a photo of me on Facebook. I'm 5 years old, sitting on a tricycle. The caption reads, I'm fighting every day to protect my baby girl. A mother never stops loving. 300 comments. All sympathy. All for her. Okay, I need to pause here for a second, because I know a lot of you are thinking, yeah, why didn't you just block her and walk away? Believe me, I asked myself that every single day. But when someone files a legal petition against you, you can't just ignore it. If you don't show up, the court rules by default, and she wins. So let me ask you, if the mother who abandoned you 21 years ago came back with a lawsuit, what would you do? Drop your answer in the comments. All right, let's get back to the story, because what happened next was so much worse. Over the next 2 weeks, Donna launches a campaign. The Facebook posts continue. Old photos of me as a toddler, long captions about a mother's heartbreak, and praying Thea gets the help she needs. Each post is shared by people I've never met, people who seem to have materialized overnight as Donna's support network. Then the calls start. Then my second cousin Linda phones on a Thursday. Honey, your mama is just torn apart. She says you won't let her help. Why won't you talk to her? I try to explain. Linda cuts me off. She's your mother, Thea. You only get one. 2 days later, my landlord calls. He sounds uncomfortable. Ms. Warren, I got a call from a woman who says she's your mother. She asked if you've been paying rent on time. She said you're having mental health issues. I feel the floor tilt slightly under my feet. She called my landlord. I've never missed a payment, I tell him. He says he knows, but the discomfort in his voice tells me the seed has been planted. At work, it gets worse. I overhear 2 co-workers whispering near the break room, something about a family court case. When I walk in, they go quiet, but one of them smiles too hard and asks if I want coffee. Donna is calling people in my life, my relatives, my landlord, probably my neighbors, and telling them I'm unstable. She's not just filing legal paperwork. She's constructing a narrative from the outside in, making sure that by the time we walk into that courtroom, everyone already believes her version. And Marcus told me I can't respond publicly. Anything you say online or to family can be twisted and used against you at the hearing. So I stay silent. And I watch my mother rewrite my life in real time. Marcus calls me on a Wednesday evening. His voice is measured, but I can hear the edge underneath. I found something on Dr. Poole. Dr. Raymond Poole, the psychiatrist who signed the evaluation claiming I'm mentally unfit, had his medical license revoked 2 years ago by the Virginia Board of Medicine. The reason? Providing fabricated psychological evaluations for use in legal proceedings. 3 separate complaints from 3 separate attorneys. He was caught, sanctioned, and stripped of his credentials. He can't legally practice, Marcus says. He can't sign medical documents. That evaluation Donna submitted to the court is worthless. I sit on my couch, phone pressed to my ear, and let that sink in. Donna didn't just find a questionable doctor. She found a disgraced one, someone willing to write whatever she needed for a fee. How did she find him? I ask. That's the interesting part, Marcus says. Greg Marsh used Poole as an expert witness in a property dispute 4 years ago, before the license was revoked. They have a history. Greg, the lawyer husband, the man who drafted the guardianship petition, selected the fake evaluator, and sat in the courtroom like it was all above board. This wasn't Donna acting alone. This was planned. Greg provided the legal architecture, Donna provided the performance, and they shopped for a doctor who'd rubber stamp whatever story they needed. Marcus, I say, if they faked the evaluation, what else did they fake? He's quiet for a beat. Then, that's exactly the question I'm going to answer. I'm pulling every document in their petition, every signature, every date. I hang up and stare at the wall. My mother didn't just come back to steal my money, she came back with a blueprint. Now, a week before the hearing, an envelope appears in my mailbox. No return address. Handwritten. I open it at the kitchen table. 4 pages, front and back, in Donna's looping cursive. She writes about the agony of being separated from my firstborn. She writes about sleepless nights wondering if you were safe. She describes a version of our history where she was forced to leave by circumstances beyond my control, and Grandma Ruth refused to let me see you. She's blaming a dead woman, a woman who can't defend herself. Tucked into the fold is a photograph. Me at age 4, sitting on a stool in our old kitchen, grinning at the camera. I recognize it immediately. It's from Grandma Ruth's album, the same album that sat on the shelf in the Maple Ridge house. Donna must have taken it when she went through the filing cabinet. And then I get to the last paragraph. The handwriting tightens. The tone shifts. If you fight me in court, everyone will know you rejected your own mother. Is that the kind of person you want to be, Thea? Think carefully. I read that line 3 times. It's not a plea, it's a threat. She signed it, Love, Mom. She underlined love twice, as if pressing the pen harder could make it true. I scan every page, front and back. Then I email the scans to Marcus with 1 line. For the file. Because here's what Donna doesn't understand about me. I'm a financial analyst. My entire job is reading documents, catching inconsistencies, and following numbers to where they lead. She wrote me a 4-page letter full of emotion, and all I see is evidence. The handwriting matches the letter she sent Grandma Ruth 8 years ago. The one asking for $5,000. Same hand, same woman, same pattern. I drive to Maple Ridge on Saturday to collect the last of the documents Marcus needs. When I turn the corner onto the street, my chest tightens. Donna's silver SUV is parked in the driveway. The front door is unlocked. I step inside and find Donna in the living room, running her hand along the mantel like she's appraising it. Greg stands by the window, arms crossed, wearing a sport coat in my grandmother's house like it's an open showing. What are you doing here? I say. Donna turns. This is where I grew up, Thea. I have every right to be here. Your name isn't on the deed. Mine is. Greg steps forward and holds out a document, single page, printed on legal-size paper. Sign this, he says. Voluntary guardianship agreement. You won't have to go to court. We handle everything quietly. I look at the paper. I don't touch it. No. Greg tilts his head. You'll regret this. Courts don't look kindly on young women who refuse their family's help. Donna starts crying. On cue, like a faucet turning. Why are you making this so hard? I'm trying to protect you. Protect me from what? My own bank account? I pull out my phone. I'm calling the non-emergency line. You can wait for them or you can leave. Greg puts his hand on Donna's arm. Let's go. We'll see her in court. They walk out. Donna pauses at the door and looks back at me with wet eyes and a tight mouth. The expression of someone who expected this to be easy and just realized it won't be. After they leave, I check the filing cabinet. 2 folders are thinner than before. My second birth certificate copy is missing. I lock the door, change the code on the keypad, and call Marcus. Claire works through the weekend. By Monday, she walks into my cubicle and sets a printed spreadsheet on my desk. 11 rows, color-coded, annotated. The full timeline. Here it is, she says. Every fraudulent account. Date opened, credit limit, balance, billing address, and where Donna was living at the time. I scan the columns. The first card was opened when I was 14. A retail store card with a $500 limit, sent to a P.O. box in Roanoke. The most recent was opened 6 months ago. A Visa with a $12,000 limit, mailed to a rental unit in Greg's name. Some of the applications were submitted online, Claire says. I was able to cross-reference IP addresses on 3 of them. All from regions where Donna was residing. She taps one row highlighted in red. This one, opened 3 weeks after your grandmother's funeral. I stare at the date. 3 weeks. Ruth Warren was barely in the ground. The flowers on her grave hadn't even wilted yet. And Donna was already opening a new line of credit under my name. She paid the minimums, Claire continues, just enough to keep the accounts alive and the alerts quiet. She knew exactly what she was doing, for over a decade. $87,000. That's the total. Not all at once, dripped out over years, across states, through dozens of small charges designed never to trigger a red flag. Claire looks at me. This isn't impulsive, Thea. This is a system. I nod. I take the spreadsheet, slide it into the manila folder with everything else. The FTC report, the police case number, the pool research, the scanned letter. One more thing, Claire says. That card she opened after the funeral, she maxed it out in 8 weeks. Cash advances, every single one. The week before the hearing, I start feeling the walls close in. My cousin Linda sends a group text to half the family. Please pray for Thea. She's going through a hard time and her mama just wants to help. I'm included in the thread. I don't respond. At church, Grandma Ruth's church, a woman I've known since I was 12 pulls me aside after the service. Donna came by last Sunday, she whispers. Cried the whole time. She says you're shutting her out. She squeezes my hand like I'm the one who needs correcting. At work, the whispers sharpen. I catch fragments in the break room, the parking lot, the elevator. Family court. Her mom filed something. Is she okay? On Wednesday, my supervisor, a decent man named Tom, asks me to step into his office. He closes the door. Thea, this isn't a disciplinary conversation. I just want to check in. Is everything all right at home? I know immediately. Donna called the office again. Or someone she talked to did. I'm fine, Tom, I say. I'm dealing with a family legal matter. It doesn't affect my work. He nods, but then adds, maybe take a few days. Clear your head. He's not firing me. He's not even being unkind. But the suggestion stings like a slap, because it means Donna's story has reached every corner of my life. My family, my church, my workplace. She's not just attacking me in court, she's making sure that by the time we get there, the world around me has already shifted in her direction. I drive home that night in silence, no radio, no calls. I pull into my parking spot and sit with the engine off. Marcus told me not to say anything, so I don't, but the silence is starting to cost me. 4 days before the hearing, I sit in Marcus's office and watch him lay everything out on the conference table like a surgeon prepping instruments. Folder 1. A psychiatric evaluation of me. A real one. Conducted by Dr. Sarah Whitfield, a board-certified psychiatrist with an active Virginia license. She spent 90 minutes with me. Her conclusion? No cognitive impairment, no psychological instability, no evidence of diminished capacity. I am, in her professional assessment, fully competent. Folder 2. My employment records, tax returns, and payment history. Is 6 years of on-time rent, a mortgage in good standing, performance reviews that use words like thorough, reliable, exemplary. Folder 3. Dr. Raymond Poole's disciplinary record. License revoked. Board complaint summaries. His connection to Greg Marsh. Folder 4. Claire's complete identity theft timeline: 11 cards, 3 loans, $87,000. Addresses, dates, IP cross-references. Folder 5. The FTC Identity Theft Report. The police case number. Official Credit Bureau confirmations. Marcus squares the edges of the stack and looks at me. We don't go in swinging. We let them build their case. Then we lay this on the table and let the judge draw her own conclusions. He pauses. Thea, I also subpoenaed Donna's personal financial records. If she used your social to borrow, yeah, it'll appear in her own file. I nod. My hands aren't shaking. One more thing, he says. We're not just trying to defeat the petition, we're going to give the court grounds to refer this for criminal prosecution. He holds my gaze. Your grandmother asked me to look after you if anything ever happened. I gave her my word. I sign the last document. The ink is steady. In 4 days, I'll walk into that courtroom, and I won't be the one on trial. The night before the hearing, I go to Maple Ridge. I don't need to pick up anything. Everything's in the folders. I just need to be here. The house is quiet. I walk through the rooms slowly. Kitchen, where Ruth taught me to make cornbread. Living room, where we watch Jeopardy every weeknight. Hallway closet, where the filing cabinet sits, half empty now, as its contents redistributed into legal folders and evidence binders. I sit on the couch and look at the framed photo on the side table. Ruth at 60, standing in the garden, squinting into the sun, holding a pair of pruning shears. She looks annoyed and magnificent. Then I open the desk drawer. Pens, rubber bands, a magnifying glass Ruth used for reading fine print, and at the bottom, a slip of paper yellowed at the edges in Ruth's handwriting. Thea, everything in this house is yours. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It's not a will. It's not a legal document. It's just a note. Maybe she wrote it on a Tuesday and forgot about it. Maybe she meant me to find it. Either way, the words hit me in a place I didn't know was still soft. I fold the note and put it in my jacket pocket. At 11 p.m., my phone buzzes. A text from Donna. It's not too late to settle this privately, Thea. Think about what Grandma would want. She invoked Ruth's name, the woman she abandoned, along with me, 21 years ago. The woman who raised me in her absence. The woman who never sent that $5,000. That was the last line she should have crossed. I set my alarm for 6 a.m. I turn off the lights. And for the first time in weeks, I sleep without dreaming. The courtroom is smaller than I expected. No marble, no gallery. Just a wood-paneled room on the 3rd floor of the county courthouse with fluorescent lights, a dozen rows of hard-backed benches, and a bench where Judge Patricia Holt sits high and still, reading glasses perched on her nose. Donna sits at the petitioner's table on the left. She's wearing a simple black dress, and no jewelry except a thin gold chain. Her eyes are already red. A tissue is folded precisely in her left hand. She looks like a woman carved from grief. Greg sits beside her, briefcase open, legal pad covered in notes. He nods at the judge's clerk like he does this every week. Behind them, in the gallery, 4 people I half recognize, distant relatives, people from Donna's world, sit in a small cluster, watching me with that particular mix of concern and judgment that says they've already heard the story. Donna's version. Jocelyn sits at the end of the 2nd row, hands clasped, looking straight ahead. I walk in with Marcus. I'm wearing a white button-down dark slacks, my hair pulled back. I carry nothing except a water bottle. Marcus carries the folders. The hearing opens. Greg stands first. He speaks in the smooth, practiced cadence of someone who sells calm for a living. Your Honor, my client Donna Marsh is a devoted mother seeking to protect her adult daughter from financial decisions she is not equipped to make. In the wake of a devastating loss, Thea Warren has exhibited patterns of instability that put her assets and her well-being at significant risk. He presents the petition. He presents Dr. Poole's evaluation. He uses the word love 3 times in 2 minutes. Then Judge Holt turns to me. Ms. Warren, you may respond. Every eye in the room shifts. Marcus stands. Before Marcus can begin, Greg calls his first witness. The petitioner calls Jocelyn Marsh. Jocelyn walks to the witness chair like she's walking to a dentist's appointment, stiff, rehearsed, avoiding my eyes. Greg guides her through it gently. Can you describe your interactions with your sister? I reached out because I wanted to connect, Jocelyn says. She looks at the judge, not at me. We met for coffee, but she was suspicious, hostile. She kept asking why I was there, like I had some kind of agenda. That's not what happened. Did she say anything that concerned you about her mental state? Jocelyn dabs her eye. She said she didn't trust anyone, that she felt like people were watching her. She seemed paranoid. I didn't say any of that. She's reciting a script. It broke my heart, Jocelyn continues, voice cracking perfectly. I just wanted a sister, but she treated me like an enemy. Greg nods solemnly. No further questions. Judge Holt looks at Marcus. Cross-examination? Marcus shakes his head once. Not at this time, Your Honor. Well, we'll address this testimony in our response. I look at him, pulse spiking. He writes one word on his pad and tilts it toward me. Wait. In the gallery, Donna's supporters murmur. One woman shakes her head in my direction. Another pats Donna's shoulder from behind. Jocelyn returns to her seat. She glances at Donna. Donna gives her a small, approving nod, the kind a director gives an actress who hit her mark. I sit perfectly still. My hands are flat on the table. My breathing is even. Marcus didn't challenge her. He let every word stand. And I'm starting to understand why. He's not building a defense. He's building a trap. Donna takes the stand next. She dabs her eyes before she even speaks. I know I wasn't there for Thea when she was young, she begins. Her voice is thin, carefully controlled. And I'll carry that guilt for the rest of my life. She tells the court she left because of circumstances I couldn't control. She implies Grandma Ruth blocked her from seeing me. My mother kept Thea from me, she says, looking at Judge Holt with wet, unblinking eyes. I wrote letters. I tried to call. She wouldn't allow it. Ruth Warren is not here to answer, and Donna knows that. She describes me as overwhelmed and struggling. She says I've been making erratic financial choices since Ruth's death. She says a guardianship isn't about control. It's about stepping in before something terrible happens. Greg stands. And the psychiatric evaluation confirms these concerns, Your Honor. Dr. Poole's assessment is included in our filing. Judge Holt flips through the paperwork. The room is quiet except for the hum of fluorescent lights and the scratch of the clerk's pen. In the gallery, heads are nodding. Donna's people are buying every word. I look at my hands, flat on the table, still. Judge Holt sets down the file and turns to Marcus. Counselor, your response. This is it. Marcus stands slowly. He buttons his jacket. He places one hand on the stack of folders in front of him. He doesn't rush. Your Honor, he says, I'd like to present evidence that this petition is not only unfounded, but is part of an ongoing criminal scheme against my client. The nodding in the gallery stops. Greg's pen freezes mid-note. And Donna, for the first time since I've seen her again, stops crying. Marcus doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. Before addressing the substance of the guardianship petition, he says, I ask the court's permission to present contextual evidence regarding the petitioner's credibility and the legitimacy of the documents before you. Judge Holt nods. Proceed. Marcus opens the first folder. Your Honor, this is a comprehensive psychiatric evaluation of Ms. Thea Warren, conducted last month by Dr. Sarah Whitfield, a board-certified psychiatrist with an active license in the state of Virginia. He hands the document to the clerk, who passes it to the judge. Dr. Whitfield found no cognitive impairment, no emotional instability, and no diminished capacity of any kind. Ms. Warren is, in every measurable sense, fully competent. He opens the second folder. These are Ms. Warren's tax returns, employment records, and payment histories spanning 6 years, on-time rent, A mortgage in good standing. Consistent performance evaluations. This is not a woman who cannot manage her own affairs. Judge Holt reads silently. The courtroom is dead quiet. Then Marcus opens the third folder. He doesn't look at Donna. He looks at the judge. Your Honor, the evaluation submitted by the petitioner was signed by Dr. Raymond Poole. I'd like to enter into the record that Dr. Poole's medical license was revoked 2 years ago by the Virginia Board of Medicine for providing fabricated evaluations in legal proceedings. The clerk's typing stops. Judge Holt removes her glasses. Greg shifts in his chair. Mr. Marsh, the judge says, eyes on Greg. Were you aware that Dr. Poole's license had been revoked? Greg clears his throat. I wasn't involved in selecting the evaluator, Your Honor. Marcus closes the folder. But that's only the beginning, Your Honor. He reaches for the fourth folder, and I watch the color leave Greg's face. Marcus spreads the timeline across the clerk's desk. 11 pages, color-coded, annotated with dates, addresses, and account numbers. Your Honor, over the past 6 weeks, my client discovered that 11 credit cards and 3 personal loans were opened in her name using her Social Security number without her knowledge or consent. The total fraudulent debt exceeds $87,000. He walks the judge through it, card by card, year by year. The first account was opened when Ms. Warren was 14 years old. The most recent was opened 6 months ago. Every billing address traces to a residence occupied by the petitioner, Donna Marsh, or her husband, Gregory Marsh. He pauses, lets the room absorb it. My client has filed an identity theft report with the Federal Trade Commission. She has filed a report with local law enforcement. These are the official credit bureau confirmations verifying the fraudulent accounts. He places each document in front of the judge like laying cards face up. The woman who claims my client cannot manage her finances, Marcus says, has been illegally managing them, without permission, for over a decade. I hear a sharp intake of breath from the gallery. One of Donna's relatives leans forward, mouth open. Donna sits frozen at the petitioner's table. Her tissue is still in her hand, but she's not using it anymore. And then Marcus pulls out one more page. This credit card, Your Honor, a Visa ending in 4471, was opened 3 weeks after the death of Ms. Warren's grandmother, Ruth Warren. Judge Holt looks up from the document. She looks at Donna. The room is so quiet, I can hear the clock on the wall. 3 weeks, Marcus repeats. The flowers on the grave were still fresh. Judge Holt turns to Donna. Ms. Marsh, you may respond to these allegations. Donna's composure cracks. Not slowly, all at once, like ice breaking under weight. I don't know anything about this, she says. Her voice has lost its rehearsed tremble. Now it's just raw. Someone must have stolen her information. It wasn't me. Marcus reaches into the folder without a word. He pulls out 2 documents and holds them side by side. Your Honor, this is a letter written by Donna Marsh to her mother, Ruth Warren, approximately 8 years ago, requesting $5,000. He sets it down. And this is the signature on the application for the fraudulent Visa card ending in 4471. He places them next to each other on the clerk's desk. The handwriting is consistent. I would respectfully request the court order a formal graphology analysis if there is any doubt. Greg stands. Objection? Relevance. Judge Holt doesn't look at him. Overruled. Sit down, Mr. Marsh. Donna turns in her chair, not toward the judge, toward me. Her face is a mess of mascara and fury. I'm your mother, she shouts. Everything I did because I had no choice. The bailiff takes a step forward. The gallery goes rigid. You owe me, Thea. As I gave you life. I look at her across the courtroom. My voice is level, clear, not loud. You gave me life, I say. Then you left it. Then you tried to take it over. Judge Holt's gavel cracks once. Order. Ms. Marsh, you will compose yourself or you will be removed. Donna slumps back. In the second row, Jocelyn stares at her lap. Her hands are shaking. The woman who patted Donna's shoulder earlier has pulled her hand away. Marcus isn't finished. Your Honor, I have one final matter. He opens the last section of his file. During our investigation, we obtained the petitioner's financial records via subpoena. Within those records, we found that Gregory Marsh, the petitioner's husband and legal representative in this very proceeding, co-signed on 2 of the loans taken out using Ms. Warren's stolen Social Security number. The courtroom stills. The clerk stops typing. Even the fluorescent lights seem to quiet. Judge Holt leans forward. Mr. Marsh, is this accurate? Greg's mouth opens, closes, opens again. He looks like a man who just realized the floor beneath him has disappeared. Your Honor, those loans were... He stops, starts over. I'd like to request a recess. Denied. Judge Holt's voice is flat. You are representing the petitioner in a guardianship case while being potentially complicit in identity fraud against the respondent. The court takes that very seriously. She turns to the bailiff. Note this for referral to the Virginia State Bar for investigation. Greg sits down. He doesn't touch his legal pad again. And then something happens that nobody expected. Jocelyn stands up in the gallery. Her voice is small but steady. I didn't know about any of this. The room turns. Donna's head snaps toward her daughter. Mom told me Thea was mentally ill, Jocelyn says. She told me what to say. She coached me for 2 days. I thought I was helping. She looks at me. Her eyes are red, but not from performance. From the thing that happens when reality rearranges itself in front of you. I'm sorry, Thea. I didn't know. Donna grabs Jocelyn's arm. Sit down, right now. Jocelyn pulls her arm free. The bailiff steps between them. Judge Holt removes her glasses. She sets them on the bench, folds her hands, and looks at the room for a long moment before speaking. This court has heard testimony, reviewed the petition, and examined the evidence submitted by both parties. She turns to Donna. Ms. Marsh, the petition for guardianship over Thea Warren is denied in its entirety. The respondent has demonstrated full cognitive, emotional, and financial capacity. The evaluation submitted in support of your petition was signed by a physician whose license was revoked, rendering it inadmissible. And the testimony of your witness has been recanted by the witness herself. Donna doesn't move. Her tissue is wadded in her fist. Furthermore, Judge Holt continues, the evidence of identity theft presented by the respondent is deeply concerning to this court. I am referring the full record, credit reports, account documentation, and investigative findings to the county prosecutor's office for criminal review. She looks at Greg. Mr. Marsh, your potential involvement in the fraudulent accounts will be referred to the Virginia State Bar. But I strongly suggest you retain separate counsel. Greg stares at the table. Finally, the judge says, I am issuing a temporary restraining order. Ms. Donna Marsh, Mr. Gregory Marsh, and Ms. Jocelyn Marsh are prohibited from contacting, visiting, or communicating with Thea Warren by any means. This order is effective immediately. The gavel falls. The sound echoes in the small room like a period at the end of a sentence. The bailiff escorts Donna to the door. She turns once, looks at me, and says, quietly, almost to herself, She's my daughter. The door closes behind her. Marcus puts his hand on my shoulder. It's over, Thea. I reach into my jacket pocket and feel the folded note. Ruth's handwriting, still there. I don't cry. I breathe. 2 weeks after the hearing, the dominoes start falling, and the county prosecutor reviews the referral and opens a formal investigation. Within a month, Donna Marsh is charged under federal identity theft statutes. 11 counts of fraudulent use of a Social Security number, 3 counts of credit fraud. The charges carry a combined potential sentence of 5 to 15 years. Greg's situation unravels separately, but just as thoroughly. The Virginia State Bar suspends his license pending investigation. 3 days later, a former client files an additional ethics complaint. Apparently, Greg's problems didn't start with my case. At the Maple Ridge house, I change the locks, install a deadbolt, and set up a security camera at the front door. Not because I'm scared, because I'm done leaving doors open. My credit begins the slow process of recovery. With the FTC report and the court referral on file, the credit bureaus start removing the fraudulent accounts one by one. Claire checks in weekly with updates. 2 more dropped off, scores at 580 now. The relatives, the ones who called me ungrateful, who texted Bible verses about honoring thy mother, start reaching out. Cousin Linda leaves a voicemail. Thea, honey, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. I listened to it once. I don't call back. There's one more thing. During the prosecutor's review of Donna's financial activity, they discover 2 additional credit cards opened in my name. Both applied for the week before the hearing. Cash advances, maximum limits. She wasn't just fighting for guardianship. She was running a backup plan, draining what she could before the window closed. And I stare at the notification from the credit bureau and think, she never stopped. Not for 21 years. Not even when she was sitting in that courtroom, crying about how much she loved me. On a Saturday in late spring, I bring a box of cleaning supplies to Maple Ridge and spend the whole day in the house. I wash the windows, sweep the porch, wipe down the kitchen cabinets with the lemon cleaner Ruth always used. I found 2 bottles under the sink, like she knew I'd need them eventually. I empty the filing cabinet completely, reorganize everything into a new system, digital copies, encrypted drives, a locked safe in the bedroom closet. No more trusting the world the way Ruth did. I love her for it, but I won't repeat it. In the bottom drawer of her dresser, I find a photograph I've never seen. Guess Ruth is holding me as a baby, can't be more than 6 months old. She's looking down at me, and her face has an expression I can only describe as ferocious tenderness, like she'd already decided she would fight the world for me. I set the photo on the kitchen counter and lean against the stove. At 4 o'clock, Claire pulls into the driveway with a bottle of wine and a bag of takeout from the Thai place near our office. She doesn't ask how I'm doing, she just holds up the bag and says, "Pad see ew, extra lime." We eat on the porch. The sun is going down, and the light turns everything copper. Claire tells me about a guy she's been texting. I tell her the porch railing needs replacing. Normal things, small things. You going to move in? She asks. Yeah, I say. I think so. The house creaks when the wind picks up, the same spots it's always creaked. The screen door still sticks. The garden is overgrown. But it's mine. Not because Ruth left it to me, because I fought to keep it. Marcus calls on a Tuesday evening, a few weeks after the hearing. His voice has the settled quality of a man who's checked something off a long list. I have some news, he says. The judge's referral led to a review of how guardianship petitions are processed in our county. They're updating the verification protocol. Evaluating physicians' credentials will now be mandatory before any guardianship hearing proceeds. I lean against the kitchen doorframe. Because of my case? Because of your case. It won't fix everything. But it'll make it harder for someone to pull what Donna pulled. I look across the living room at the framed photo of Ruth on the side table, the one with the pruning shears. She'd be glad to hear that. Marcus is quiet for a moment, then he says, "Ruth would be proud of you, Thea. I know that for certain." I feel something shift in my chest. Not sadness, not relief, but something between, like a door closing gently behind me. Marcus, thank you. For everything. Don't thank me, he says. You saved yourself. I just kept the promise I made to your grandmother. After we hang up, I stand in the hallway for a while. The filing cabinet is empty now, relocated to storage. The hallway looks bigger without it, cleaner. I think about Ruth's 2 rules. Work hard, and never depend on anyone who already showed you they'd leave. She was talking about Donna. I know that now. She probably always knew this day would come. Maybe not the details, but the shape of it. A mother who left, a daughter who stayed, and a fight that was always going to arrive. She made sure I had the tools, and she made sure Marcus was standing by. That's not luck, that's love, the kind that plans ahead. I want to say something directly, because I know some of you watching this right now are dealing with something similar. When someone in your family uses the word love to justify taking your money or controlling your decisions, that's not love, that's leverage, and you don't owe anyone your freedom just because you share DNA. Now, I have a question for you. Do you think Jocelyn deserves forgiveness? She lied on the stand, but she also spoke up when it mattered. What would you do? Tell me in the comments. All right, here's how the story ends. 6 months later. My credit score is 720. It took dozens of phone calls, 3 rounds of disputes, and a stack of FTC paperwork thick enough to use as a doorstop, but the fraudulent accounts are gone. All of them. My name is clean again. Donna pleaded guilty. 3 years in federal prison. Restitution ordered, $87,000. Her attorney negotiated the plea to avoid trial. I was told she cried in the courtroom when the sentence was read. I wasn't there. I didn't need to be. Greg Marsh was permanently disbarred by the Virginia State Bar. Last I heard, he's selling real estate in North Carolina, without a law license. Jocelyn sent a written apology through her attorney. It was 2 pages. I read it. It sounded genuine. I didn't respond. Maybe one day. Not yet. I moved into the Maple Ridge house full-time. Rented out my old apartment. The mortgage payments cover themselves now. The garden is halfway back to what Ruth had, and I replaced the porch railing myself. Claire helped. She held the boards while I drilled. We only argued twice about whether it was level. At work, Tom, my supervisor, pulled me aside on my first day back. I owe you an apology, he said. I should have asked what was going on before suggesting time off. I told him it was fine, and I meant it. People make assumptions. The ones who correct them are the ones worth keeping around. I froze my credit permanently. Social Security number locked. Every account monitored. Nobody opens anything in my name without my explicit authorization. I don't talk to Donna. I don't follow updates on her case. And I changed my phone number and deactivated the social media accounts she found me on. The door is closed. I closed it. It's a Sunday in September, and I'm sitting on the porch at Maple Ridge. The air smells like cut grass and the first edge of autumn. There's a glass of iced tea on the railing and a book in my lap I haven't opened. Sometimes the porch is enough. I reach into the small drawer of the side table, the one Ruth kept her reading glasses in, and pull out the slip of paper I found months ago. I've read it 100 times, but I unfold it again. Thea. Everything in this house is yours. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I used to think she was talking about the house, the walls, the roof, the filing cabinet full of records. But I don't think that's what she meant. She meant the life inside it. At the mornings I spent doing homework at this kitchen table. The evenings we sat in these same chairs and listened to the crickets. The version of me she built, piece by piece, out of patience and rules and Thursday pot roast. That's what's mine. Not the wood and plaster, the foundation she poured into me. I take the note to the living room. I slide it into a small frame, the kind you buy at the drugstore for $4, and hang it on the wall next to Ruth's photo, the one with the pruning shears. They look right together. My mother gave me a name. My grandmother gave me a life. And when someone tried to take both, I chose to keep what mattered. If you learn anything from my story, let it be this. The people who raised you don't always share your blood, but the ones who tried to break you don't get to share your life. Thank you for staying with me until the end. This story wasn't easy to tell, but I believe it needed to be heard. If you're out there right now fighting to protect yourself from someone who should have protected you, remember, setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's survival. If this story meant something to you, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. There's another story in the description that'll blow your mind. Trust me, you'll want to see it. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves.